And may the Force be with you.
The Force be with you.
May 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 the Force be with us all.
May the Force be with us.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, Master.
And may the Force be with us.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with us.
May the Force be with you. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. Always.
May the Force be with you.
May the 4th be with you, my crazies. Y'all are back in the lab. Lee here. Y'all saw that title too as well. That is right. May the 4th be with you. Mandela Effects all the way. Star Wars Mandela Effects to get precise. So, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I love Star Wars just like many generations of fans just like myself love Star Wars. We have seen every Star Wars probably so many different times. And if you don't know what Star Wars is or never heard of Star Wars, well, this is a great video for you because you're about to learn some Mandela effects before you go watch these movies. But then you've been living under a rock too as well. A little thing about Star Wars is basically stories of, I would say, biblical characters, Bible stories, Buddhas, all that stuff, but it's more of a spiritual story in a sense of energy. So keep that too in your mind as well. So before we do get this started, y'all remember to hit the thumbs up button. Y'all remember to subscribe. And y'all remember to leave your comments down below so we can talk about these Star Wars Mandela effects and others you would love to discuss on this channel. So let's go ahead and get this rolling real quick, and we're going to go off with the most memorable one of the ones of all Star Wars Mandela effects, and we're talking about Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. Luke, I am your father is one of the biggest, apparently now misinterpreted lines of all time. Now, in our world, many worlds, it's always been Luke, I am your father. But in this reality, it's not. Listen.
He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
No. I am your father. No! And that is right. That's what he says. VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, freaking Laserdisc, theatrical. He has always said it has always been, no, I am your father. Never Luke, I am your father. And there's so much evidence about it. James Earl Jones, even Luke Skywalker himself saying it. There's even the toy that they produced even says, Luke, I am your father. How you remember that one? That is right. We're going to be talking about Leia, Princess Leia herself, and that scene that you saw. And as we go through this scene, I'm talking about her footwear, her shoes. Now, look at her shoes right there. Does that look right to you? Does that look right? Where did she get Uggs from? Where did the Uggs come from in this reality or in that reality or whatever reality we decide to reside in? Where did the Uggs come from? That blows my mind. You think I'm playing my mind? I'm playing you this thing through here. You see, they're Uggs. They're Uggs. Now, in my reality and million of Star fan Princess Leia's sexy ass world, we remember Princess Leia wearing those lace shoes, kind of like those, Cleopatra lace kind of shoes or slippers. But I guess that's never the case because it's always been those Uggs, those gray Uggs that look so weird and even kind of just so updated for that time. I don't know how to explain that, but it blows me away because I always remember the laces, kind of like the string lace, you know what I'm talking about, and never the Uggs. But how do you remember that? Were they always Uggs, or were they like the string lace Cleopatra slipper things? Let me know.
The Emperor's Wayfinder is in the Imperial Vault at Delta 36.
Oh, Master Luke, something happened to my leg. And yes, we're talking about CP3O and that infamous silver leg. Now, just like me and many people when we first saw this original one, we don't remember CP3O having a silver leg. as you see right here. It's really weird. It's really odd that his whole body is gold, but he has that silver leg there. And that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Now, it's odd in a sense of then, through this whole reality of mine until I saw the latest movie, his leg, and it's always been gold. It's always been gold in my reality, except, right there and there, you see that silver leg. But as I was watching The Rise of Skywalker and under a psychedelic experience, there's a part of the scene where actually they're running through the star base, or whatever you want to call it, to go back to the Millennium Falcon. And there's a point where they go up to CP3O and he looks silver. His chest is silver and he has a silver arm. It's weird. And I was thinking maybe that's kind of a phase of waves of energy or time. You know what I mean? A frequency of how we see it and perceive things. But in my mind, in the original, CP3O never had a silver leg. It was always gold in my reality. But what is your reality? Was it silver or was it always gold? Oh, these are one of the classic one of these, man. The Return of the Sith, or if you really want to dig deep into it, The Revenge of the Sith. And we're talking about the great Empress Palpatine. And the scene where they're all in the stadium, the Sith is talking to everybody, talking about they're about to go get the rebels and all this other stuff. And there's a scene of where Empress Palpatine says, "So this is how democracy dies." Well, that's not the case anymore. Listen.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
So this is how liberty dies. Never in my reality. It was always, this is how democracy dies. And that's how I remember this one. And it's crazy to me that now it's how liberty dies. Just because, for all of us that do live in the United States of America, we have the Statue of Liberty. We are called liberty. In a sense, it kind of throws off to where this Mandela effect and the meaning of this Mandela effect. So this is how liberty dies kind of makes an eerie feeling and sense of, well, now they're talking about the U.S. This is where this Mandela effect is now talking about liberty, Lady Liberty. And, from democracy to liberty blows me away. There's even memes that says, so this is how democracy dies. But it's never been that way. It's always been liberty. But how has it always been in your mind? Let me know.
I've been waiting for you.
Oh, another iconic scene in A New Hope. And it's when ObiWan Kenobi is facing off with Darth Vader himself. And their lightsaber. And the scene and where Luke runs up and Obi-Wan looks at Luke and Obi-Wan pulls up his lightsaber and, well, take a look at this scene.
Ben?
Like I said and left off, he pulls his lightsaber off, and then Darth swipes him, kills him. But in my reality, in million people's reality, Star Wars fans around the world, remember Obi-Wan Kenobi putting his lightsaber up, turning it off, and then that's when Darth Vader, exactly right. He didn't have his lightsaber on when Darth Vader took him away, when he went into the light, if you want to put it that way, turned into the real Jedi light. But he looked at Luke, turned off his his lightsaber, and then Darth killed him. That's exactly how I remember the scene. But as you saw right there, see right there, he never turns it off. He never turns it off. But how do you remember that scene? Was it always on? Or did he turn it off?
If you hurry, you might catch them.
I feel like this movie has just got hit all over the place. The New Hope. I feel like it's just got crushed all over the place because we're going right back to it. And we're going into the scene where Leia, Han, and Luke were stuck in basically the garbage compactor, right? They were in the garbage compactor. The garbage trash, the garbage compactor. But it was never garbage compactor at all. We remember it being garbage compactor. You can look it up and it says garbage compactor. But that is not what Luke says.
Are you there, sir? 3PO! We've had some problems. Will you gentlemen listen to me? Shut down all the garbage mashers on the detention level, will you? Do you copy? Shut down all the garbage mashers on the...
Turn off the garbage mashers! turn off the garbage mashers. That's not how I remember it. Like I said, you can look it up. And I remember him saying, CPDO, turn off all the garbage compactors. That's exactly what it is. And you can look it up. If you look it up, you can see YouTube names calling it garbage compactor. That's how I looked it up, was garbage compactor. So, to me, it's always been garbage compactor. But in this reality, it is not. It's garbage masters. He says garbage masters. I can't even say the word, it blows me out. Garbage mashers. And I feel like he would have a tongue twister on that because it twisted my tongue. But how do you remember? Was it always garbage mashers or was it garbage compactors? Oh, this one has to do with my great, great, great friend, Chewbacca. And I'm talking about the end of actually New Hope and all this. And I'm talking about the end of where they all are gathering up. They're having the ceremony and everybody's receiving a medal. And Chewie no longer gets a medal, which is so odd because I remember Chewbacca getting a medal just like everybody else in there. I remember him leaning down, Leia putting it over his head, and he was so happy about it. And it blows my mind because even in the comic book script, you can see Chewie receiving the medal. It blows me away, but he doesn't receive a medal anymore. As you've seen, he does not receive a medal. But the odd thing about this Mandela Effect and Chewie not receiving the medal is in the last movie that was put out, The Rise of Skywalker. At the end of the movie, he receives his medal. He receives the medal back. Because, that was like a big thing to him. And Leia was, for all that knows, Leia passes away, spoiler alert. But that was an iconic scene. And it makes sense because every artist, every producer, every director in movies always puts everything in the movie that's been in a movie before. It's how it works in sequels. But I always remember Chewie getting a medal. How do you remember it? Did he ever get a medal? Or did he receive that medal? Like we all remember.
Are you all right? What's wrong?
I felt a great disturbance in the Force.
Oh, what better way to end this one with the last one? And since it's May the 4th, we have to go with May the Force be with you. And we're talking about ObiWan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker, and the first time you kind of hear that iconic phrase. It's not really the first time, but it's like the second time you hear. It's the first time actually you hear ObiWan Kenobi say it. And he tells Luke, we remember, may the Force be with you. But that's not the case anymore. Listen.
The Force will be with you. Always. The Force will be with you. Always.
That's right. The Force will be with you always. I've heard it before. They say it all the time in there. But I don't ever remember Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, may the Force be with you always. He always said, may the Force be with you. And then he left. But never, the Force is with you always. It blows me away. It rounds me a little bit. And there's many sayings of that. And it's just not right with Obi-Wan Kenobi because I believe, and I so honestly believe deep down in my heart, my mind, that is the first time Obi-Wan Kenobi tells Luke, may the Force be with you. But how do you remember it? How do you remember that? Did he say it in that iconic scene, may the Force be with you? Or was it always the way it's been now, the Force will be with you always? Oh, I love this day. It's going to be a Star Wars day all day. May the 4th be with you through everything y'all do. Man, I hope you see the light between the dark. I hope you've seen the dark between the light so you can use both and push it out there for the force of good, the force of wonderful energy, the force of me just getting so excited about it for some reason because I love the Force. I am a Jedi. I am part of the light side and I enjoy bringing this stuff and awakening people to the reality that the realities that we live in is not the reality where we came from. Man, if y'all enjoyed this anytime, y'all please remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and leave me those comments down below. And remember, keep your mind open because those eyes will see everything in front of you. Y'all stay crazy.
Rey Skywalker.